All right, everybody, gather around. Uncle Ryu's got a little story. This is Unc Talks. So, back in the day, back in the day, what was it like to play Street Fighter 2? Somebody asked me. Definitely somebody asked me. And to start the game, premium games cost 50 cents. Everything else costs a quarter. Street Fighter 2 comes along, boom, it's in your local store. Oh, this is the other thing. I digress. The main thing about Street Fighter culture was A, you needed 50 cents to play. B, you needed to find a place that had it. C, you needed to find a place that had working joysticks and working buttons. These were difficult things to find. So if you were not good at this game, you lost your money and you had to go, you start the game for 50 cents. If you started the game for 50 cents, somebody could come along and challenge you, also for 50 cents. But the continues cost one quarter. So if you had $1, let's say, that's 2 full games against the computer, or a challenge and 2 continues. Or if it's hot, if it's popping, that's 4 continues. And maybe if somebody already has a challenge and they ran out of quarters, now boom, you're in there with 1 quarter, right? So it was all about having a small stack so you could plan your attack. And the other thing about it was that you had to go to certain places. Not everybody had one. So the local 7-Eleven store was where I used to play. There was a pizza place down the way. Yeah, usually it was pizza parlors. Sometimes movie theaters would have like a little mini arcade. Casinos would have a little mini arcade, right? Because kids can't be on the floor over there. Yeah, so you'd find them in these various places, right? And they'd all have their own isolated sort of local knowledge, local culture. There was no internet. Seeing a new move happen in real time as a kid, it would just blow your mind. It was literally, what? I've never seen that. How did you do that? Let me watch your hands while you do that, please. You wouldn't say that, but you would just be like, oh, the level of excitement was in the air. Like, so then what naturally follows, of course, as kids do, as teenagers do, you get some urban legends mixed in there. Oh, I heard somebody did this, or I heard Guile could do that, or oh, Chun-Li can throw her bracelets. That was a big one, urban legend, big urban legend. Chun-Li can throw her bracelets. Did you know that? I know how to do it. I mean, I'm not going to show you, but I know how to do it. I definitely know how to do it. My brother could do it. My brother's cousin did it 3 times at this place that you never heard about. It's in Canada. He's really good at this game. You have no idea. Yeah, definitely can never meet him. He's in Canada for sure. But he's done it several times at that place that you're not allowed to go at 21 and up. He's done it over there. And so you'd have stories like that, basically. And we all, immediately believed it. So we're all trying to do crazy stuff, So why would you even try? Why would you try to throw Chun-Li's bracelets? Like, what are you doing? Like, because you wanted so bad for her to have a fireball, I suppose. It seemed like an imbalance. Chun-Li was definitely not the best character in old school Street Fighter 2. We're talking original Street Fighter 2, not Championship Edition. 8 characters only. You cannot be the bosses. That's when I started playing. That's when this cultural kind of phenomenon kicked up. And so you'd go to like your 7-Eleven, there'd be 10 people standing around this one machine, quarters up, left, right, center for everyone who was in line. You put your quarter up on the glass, and that kept your place in line. And shady people and bullies would sometimes try to steal those quarters, right? But it was part of like growing up and being young gentlemen of the street fighting. You had to learn kind of hold your own and maintain your quarter position there. And sometimes, yeah, it's 10, 16-year-olds in year 12, you might not get to play, right? That did happen. We'll just say that happened. But then eventually, as people get to know you, so it was a local kind of culture. You had to kind of know the people, and eventually you get to learn everybody's name. So it was like a club almost, but it was like a local one. It's like, oh yeah, that's so and so. He can do this move. Or so. Going back to the urban legends, I know I'm bouncing around. Going back to the urban legends tale, the invisible throw for Guile. the handcuff with Guile, turning off the machine with Guile. These were urban legends until they were true, right? I heard Guile can throw by grabbing the air. BS, no, you can't, blah, blah, blah. You know, immediately disbelieve until someone does it in your local place. Now, you can't look up this move. You could only know. So you've heard Chun-Li can throw her bracelets, right? You've heard, this character can do such and such. Dalsim could teleport. Used to be an urban legend until they made it a move in the game. I'm not even joking. That was a thing people thought Dalsim could do back in Street Fighter 2. Never once saw it happen. It didn't happen. He could not do it. I defy you to prove me wrong. But yeah, people would say Dalsim can teleport, and I don't know if the creators listen to that stuff, but eventually he did. So that was kind of fascinating. And Chun-Li did eventually throw a fireball, not her bracelets, but a fireball. So fascinating stuff. But anyway, so the urban legends, yeah, were that Guile could invisible throw. He could. That he could handcuff, quote unquote, handcuff. So you do this a standing. It's a standing strong and forward, specifically strong and forward, but you have to be standing while you do it and you have to be really close while you do it. So it's a standing sonic kick or flash kick. We didn't know what they were called back in the day. They weren't labeled yet. The labels came out in Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition, the flash kick. That became, so they eventually told you the moves in Championship Edition. They'd post it on the side of the box, on the wood, on the cabinet. But at first, yeah, no, we didn't know what things were called. So Sonic Boom, Sonic Kick, right? Just kind of, but eventually it was Flash Kick, and now everyone knows that Flash Kick. I'm probably one of the only people who call it Sonic Kick. So anyway, that's what I mean if I say Sonic Kick's Flash Kick. So yeah, you have to do that standing Sonic Kick with the strong button or middle punch, and then the middle kick. So you go bop bop. You see, you have to be standing. So you go. The joystick move is kind of awkward. You got to go up, right, with slight delay, and then the strong, and then the forward. And you have to charge it also. So you couldn't do it again and again. You couldn't spam it out there. You had to charge it up every time. And so, you'd probably waste a couple quarters maybe trying to learn these moves, maybe once a day with your buddy or something like that. You'd spend one round maybe playing your friends. You'd spend the first round, you might spend just like messing around, trying new moves, right? But getting back to the handcuff situation, yeah. So the move was that Guile would execute the move, and then the other character would appear like they just took some damage. They'd be stuck next to Guile. So if he walked back and forth, the character would go with him, frozen, and frozen in like the sprite where it looks like they just took a hit, and they're like, ugh. So and then you could jump around with them, and they would attached at the hip basically. And as long as you got out of it while the timer was still going, then you were good. And the way to get out of it was, by the way, to do the invisible throw. So if you knew how to do the handcuff, you had better know how to do the invisible throw. Or what would happen is if the timer would run out, it would soft lock the whole cabinet, the game. You'd soft lock the game. And so you'd have to turn it off, and that meant that you had to be tall enough to turn it off, or find someone tall enough to turn it off, etc., and so forth. It was a whole thing. So yeah, that was the handcuff. They call it handcuff just because it looked like he went everywhere with him. I guess I don't. They probably call it the Guile freeze, but the handcuff for sure would soft lock the game, and you could do the invisible throw to get out of either of these moves. So that was kind of the really cool thing, was to get stuck in a Guile freeze. The guy walks up to you, thinking that you're done, because the other way to get out of the Guile freeze is have the guy hit you. So they might come up thinking that they get a free hit because you're frozen, right? Guile, oh no, there's a glitch, I'm stuck. Oh no, I'm Guile, I'm stuck in a glitch. So you'd bait the guy over to you, and then you'd invisible throw him. At least I would. Maybe we'll cover invisible throws in another talk. So yeah, all that handcuff business is part of the urban legends that wound up being true. And if you played during that time, you knew how exciting it was to see somebody not only get into the handcuff, but then also be able to get out of the handcuff without soft locking the game. That was what's up.